Hey, how's it going? Welcome to another All About RVs. Today, we want to talk about using your RV in the cold weather. We know that there's fun to be had in the colder climates, and we want to talk about protecting your RV and staying comfortable. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and look at this topic in two different areas. We're gonna look at it as protecting your RV from the cold and also the comfort on the inside. Because believe me, you're not gonna be comfortable inside if you're outside trying to thaw out hoses or get something that is frozen to thaw out. You're not gonna be comfortable inside. So we're gonna look at it as the first line of defense and how you deal with your fresh water supply. So there's a couple of ways you can look at it. You can either fill up your tank on the inside and use your pump, but if you want to use a supply line, you don't want to be on your freshwater tank, they have this heat cable that you can attach directly to your hose. You want to go from the water source and have that with the heat cable all the way till it enters into your RV. And then you can wrap it in some kind of insulation, pipe insulation like this. That way it keeps any heat that this thing is producing around the hose and keeping it completely free of frost. So they also make hoses that are kind of an all-in-one unit. They're already insulated and they already have basically like a heat cable on the inside. You just hook them up, plug them in, and you're good to go. This heat cable also does need power to produce the heat to keep your hose warm and frost free. So that is the two sides of the supply for the fresh water. Either use your onboard or the hose. For us, one of the ways of protection is we had to make sure that we protected this bay, because this bay has our fresh water tank, it has our pump, it has our filters, and all that we cannot have frozen. So we went ahead and we insulated this door, because this door was probably the weakest link. Everything else is insulated around this bay except for the door. So we insulated the door and we actually ducted some heat into this so that it would keep it from freezing when our furnace is on. So now that this area is protected for us, well, for some people, they don't like to heat the bay using their furnace. So what they'll do is they'll use a space heater. Let me grab that real quick. Ours wasn't over here because we use ours on the comfort side of things, and I'll show you that later. But this is a space heater that many people use down in their basement area, down in the area where they might have their water pump and filters. It's just something that you can set on a low temperature, kind of set a thermostat for when it gets cold. And it has a safety feature that if it tips over, it's gonna turn off and it's not gonna burn your trailer down. So that is a plus. Some people use light bulbs in these bays. So whatever you prefer, go ahead and do that. We preferred to go ahead and just duct some heat into here. So when our rig is heated, this is done also. So now that this area is protected, we also want to look at our gray tanks and our black tanks and those valves so that those don't get damaged also. Okay, this is the area underneath our slide where we have all of the valves to the black tank, the gray tanks, to be able to empty those. Now, there's going to be water just past these valves, and that's something that we need to be aware of because we don't want this area freezing also. If these break and these are busted, that's just going to be a mess, especially if your tanks are full. So you want to make sure that these are going to be safe. You could also, again, use that heat cable, wrap these up and insulate them. They even make special insulated sleeves to go around some of these valves. But you want to make sure that this is protected. A lot of your Class A's and your newer fifth wheels, this is going to be better protected. It's going to be more insulated and kind of covered from the elements, which is a great thing. But it's definitely something you want to check and take a look at, because you really want to protect these pipes from freezing. Now, I know for us that even in this setup, we were down in 18 degrees, somewhere in there, 15 degrees, and we were actually okay. We didn't have any of this freeze and lock up or break or anything like that. So We can go quite cold in our rig, but it's always good to be safe and insulate it if you think it has the chance of freezing. So also, if you're going to be in the elements for a long time, camping cold, there's another way that you can protect these in a big way. You can put a skirt around your entire rig. They can be made out of different types of fabric, vinyl. They'll attach to the side of your rig and go down to the ground, and usually have like some kind of a PVC border at the ground, so that you're not having the airflow, that exchange, go through here, and it almost creates its own little climate underneath your rig, so that you're not losing as much heat under there, which actually leads into some of the comfort. If you can keep it warmer under your rig, it's going to be warmer inside your rig. So let's talk about comfort. So on the comfort side of things, we do a few things inside just so that it's a little bit more comfortable for us in the cold weather. Of course, we're going to use our furnace, our heater. It does a great job of getting our rig warm quickly, but the boys area in the back doesn't get quite as much airflow back there because it's a toy hauler. It is ducted for heat back there, but it's a big area for how small of a duct they gave it to heat back there. So if we're on full hookups, we'll actually supplement some heat back there with this electric heater. That one that I was showing you outside that some people use in the storage compartment. We use this in their room to help maintain a temperature at night or even during the day, just to help equalize the whole rig. Now, if we're at a place that has full hookups, we'll actually use a couple of these. We'll use this one in the boys' room, and then we'll have another one out here, just so that we're not going through a ton of propane. Because I know some people's furnaces and RVs, they'll say that they'll crank through propane in just like 4 days. Now, we can usually go a month. Like we went a month when we were in South Dakota in November and December. We would use 2 30-pound tanks. So that's like 14 gallons of propane. So those are the heat sources that we use. We like these small space heaters just because they're small, they pack away easier. I know that there are some that are more efficient out there, like your oil heaters are going to be better, and some people even use like the vent-free propane heater on the inside, like a Heat Buddy or something like that. But we prefer to use this. We don't have to worry about any kind of gases or exhaust or cracking a window with these electric heaters. So they work well for us. Now, one of the other areas is you want to make sure that you're as insulated as you can, and you're obviously not going to go ripping into the walls and adding insulation, but there's a few things that you can do. We use some of the insulation that we had used on that door out there. We had some extra pieces left over, and so I just cut a square and threw some white fabric over it, and we'll pop these into the vents in the bedrooms, just to insulate it, because condensation and losing heat through those vents is going to be a battle that you're going to have when you're in these cold environments. Now, we just made these because we had the materials on hand, but they actually do make it's almost like a pillow kind of a material that goes inside of those vents, and they help protect you there because like I said, condensation is going to be a big battle when you take your rig to cold environments. Your windows are going to start condensating in your vents anywhere that is the least insulated. Now, there's things that you can do to take the humidity out of the air, but I think the first place to start is you want to make sure you're not putting more humidity in the air than is necessary. So if you're going to be using the shower and taking a shower, you're actually going to want to open up that vent and let some of that moisture go out through the vent in your bathroom. Or if you're cooking, maybe think of meals that aren't going to produce as much moisture in the air, because just having people breathing, I'm not suggesting that you stop breathing, but people breathing, taking showers, cooking, all those things add moisture in the air, and it's just going to create more condensation, more moisture on the inside that's going to create issues. You don't want to have mold build up in your rig, so you either want to stop it from happening, minimize it, or you want to have like a dehumidifier in your rig to take care of that moisture. Oh, one more tip is on your windows. If you don't have sunlight coming in your windows, close your shades on that window, because whatever layer you can put in front of that is just gonna help insulate it even more. And every layer of insulation that you can get and keeping in your heat is just gonna be a benefit for you. You're gonna go through less energy, whether it's electric or propane, and it's just gonna be more comfortable. So those are the tips and tricks that we have used for camping and using our rig in the cold. Go ahead and let us know if you have any tips or tricks or things that have worked for you in the past. We would love to hear your comments, and we're always eager to learn new techniques. So we hope this helps you out, and if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe, and we will hopefully see you on the road.